I want to let you know this is a special day in history to hear me call Charles twice in the same day. I'm really chip. Thank you for the invitation. This is really sort of twisted around sideways here. Because I'm talking to you and to you too at the same time, and I just hate to see speakers with their backs to the class, because after all, this is your day. When you asked me to... thanks for the invitation for speaking. I'm really honored, and if you don't think it's a tough one, to sit down and say, what are you going to say that's a little bit interesting, a little bit humorous, and at the same time maybe gets to the folks out here at the same time, it's really a tough one. So my conclusion was a smorgasbord of reflections upon 30 years of life here at Redwood as a student. And if you don't think that teachers are students, you miss the boat, because you're going to be students for the rest of your lives. I think it's really important, and you can talk to the crowd out there, they're still learning, so, and I did too, and I learned a tremendous amount. And I'm going to speak too as a parent, and I think that that's important, because I think you have to realize, and you do too, that you can't be, well, that's not true, one or two haven't made it, but most of the teachers are parents, and therefore they understand the same problems that you had. And our memories, although sometimes fading, are good enough to remember what it was like to be a student. My wife is down here, pleasant surprise. This is the gal from the 5th grade down here, and much to my surprise, we didn't get married in the 5th grade. There was rules against that sort of thing. But also a big surprise for me was my mom just got up here from San Diego. And half the brood is here, so but I got them in the speech, so you'll hear something about them too. I also a few rambling thoughts about being a teacher, and this was the toughest of the three for me to really try to discover what the profession was all about. I'll be honest, that 30 years ago, I thought I knew what it was to be a teacher, and it turned out I didn't have a clue. I mean, I was totally wrong. It took me years to find out what the primary responsibility of a teacher is, and I hope this doesn't come as a surprise, but as far as I'm concerned, the first responsibility of a teacher is to teach the individual to know themselves and to learn more about themselves, and your subject matter is secondary. At least that's been the way that it's worked for me, and I think that's the most important thing, is that people get to really like themselves and they're proud of what they do. And if you can teach that, then get out of their way, because they'll learn plenty. The 150 unique individuals each have special needs in a class. They need encouragement, praise, values, to be challenged, learn responsibility, and a helping hand. In what other profession can you begin your day with the likes of Neil Sullivan, Jonathan Wong, and Gordon Brownlee testing your sense of humor, your patience, and your sanity? I mean, a lot of people start with a cup of coffee, not at Redwood. I told you, Neil. As I look at all of you, I have to be excited and proud for having been a part of your struggle to find yourselves. The last decade, that of the 80s and the early 90s, has been a tough time in which to grow up. Pressures beyond belief, and I'll tell you, the pressures today, and I'll tell you, as you may realize, are as bad as I've ever seen them on young people when they're growing up. I personally think that we've got to do something about it to make it easier to be young and not rush to be old. I don't know how you've done all the individual and wonderful things that you have, but as a witness, I mean, I know how great you guys are, how talented you are. I think you're really lucky to have Mark in your class, because he's incredibly talented. He did everything but invent the flowers they're carrying around here. You're dynamite, and congratulations.